Welcome back to the Dr. Leslie show that I'm just making up and pulling out of my ass because it's a platform that allows me to say things I can't say on TikTok and Instagram, which is fucking fabulous. I haven't posted in a few days on YouTube because I got a cold, which utterly sucked ass. But also, it's been like overwhelming with content and it's been changing so quickly. I think I was here last Thursday or Friday, and now it's Monday. And the amount of things that have changed and the amount of news that has come out in such large quantities has made me want to kind of sit back and think through it and read it and understand it. And that's why I just poured myself a whiskey. Yeah. Mhm. Because it's been a shit show of like 5 days. Okay, so we're going to dive into celebrity gossip, celebrity trials, American trials that are going on. If we got any true crime, we will throw it out there. We have so much shit happening in the government and Epstein. The Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni shit is just all over the place. I officially can't even hear the sound of Candace Owens' voice, so I don't really know what's happening with all of her lies and propaganda and bullshit and naivety. Heard Megyn Kelly say that being a pedo is basically not that bad if you just chose a kid that looked a little older. Yeah. So she's getting annihilated all over the internet. She doesn't fucking care. She's just continuing to do her stupid fucking show, even though everyone hates her. And people are just coming out. Like so many famous people are coming out and saying that you're an asshole and you're just fucking ignorant. Those are their words, not mine. Okay, so let's look at celebrities. These are not going to be the political celebrities, because I don't even know what you would call them because they're all just a waste of skin. Kristen Bell is still getting so much hate because she posted an anniversary saying during domestic violence month that basically Dax, I wrote it down. I would never kill you, even though most men kill their wives eventually. Dax said that to her. Now she has dug her heels in and is basically not apologizing for that. Sydney Sweeney has also dug her heels in, which is interesting as well. So she's dug her heels in about being called a white supremacist and being in the jeans ad for like jeans I would never wear. And even in the ad, like she's gorgeous. Even in the ad, the jeans looked bad on her. Like they didn't even fit her. They're like weird crevices. Anyways, she had an opportunity to apologize, and I don't know if an apology was appropriate, but she could have like made a statement or something saying, I see how people are taking this and I'm not a white supremacist, but she didn't do that either. I don't think she doesn't need to apologize for the company. I highly doubt she knew what was going on with the ad. I don't think they know much about what's going on with the ads when they go in and they do these commercials and these photo shoots. But the doubling down afterwards, when she was given the opportunity to not denounce white supremacy, like that kind of sucked. And then everyone's saying, she's very MAGA, she's very conservative. I don't know. Maybe she just doesn't get it. Maybe she just literally just doesn't like understand what's going on. Like I always tell you guys on every platform, just because they're famous doesn't mean like they're that smart. A lot of actors are vessels for smart people, and a lot of actors are incredibly intelligent and amazing artists, and some really aren't. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I love that the internet just goes crazy though, and these they could make statements, they could stop this, but they don't. It's like, what if you're going to dig your heels in over child abuse or child trafficking, over actual domestic violence, dig your heels in where it matters, like the falling of America right now. Not just because you don't want to apologize. It's not like you're going to be taking ownership. Maybe the PR teams and the crisis teams need to have a little more education too. I don't know. It's very weird. I did watch another episode of Kim Kardashian's show. I was like, okay, in this one episode, they're like cheersing to a case win. This is not Keeping Up with Kardashians. This is like this new legal show that she basically paid to have herself act in with Sarah Paulson and Glenn Close, all actresses I respect. I just don't respect Kim Kardashian. So anyways, they, like, have a legal win because she's a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. Spoiler alert, by the way, don't listen to this if you actually care, you wanna watch the show, but there's no significant plot twist here. So they are all, like, cheersing, and the camera kind of, like, I don't know, pulls back, and you see that Kim's skirt isn't, like, straight, above her butt crack, it's underneath, and then you just have her thong out, and 100% she did that on purpose, and it looks really fucking trashy and stupid, and I can't believe that, like, television has come to this. She has nothing on Rotten Tomatoes. People are just annihilating the TV show, as they should, because she has, like, no facial affect. She has no range, and she's next to these women who are incredible actresses, who really actually stand for something in life, who have really put their foot down against, like, I don't know, women being able to vote. And then we've got this. If you wanna laugh, I mean, I still don't know if it's satire, but if you wanna laugh, I guess watch it. Maybe watch it through somebody else's YouTube channel so that Kim K doesn't get credit. No. Okay, so celebrity/legal stuff. The Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni case has been interesting. So, like I told you guys, basically, there was talk that the teams were going to file a motion for summary judgment. So they were basically going to say, my side wins, the other side sucks. We don't need a jury. The judge can decide. Here's everything we have. And it made me laugh, literally laugh, because what happened was Baldoni's side, Wayfair, Brian Friedman, who's royally hated by most celebrities. Yeah. Especially Ruby Rose, who I got to talk to today. So that was fun. But yes, he's just hated by everyone because he's a conniving, dirty lawyer, and he really doesn't show any kind of ethical standard in the field, and he will lie. So that's basically what came out is in this motion for summary judgment, they show all their evidence. They don't really have any. People are like, "Oh, we've seen all the evidence. Now you can close the case." No, actually, all you've seen is what they just showed you, which is nothing. So you're asking to close the case based on the evidence they showed you. That's their evidence, which is nothing. So again, they have nothing. So you're asking them to close the case because they have nothing? No, that means the other side, Blake Lively, they have something. Like, it says it's not that hard to math. The math isn't mathing. Anyways, I think my assumption is that they were completely manipulated by Blake Lively's team because they were never going to do a motion for summary judgment, at least not that fast. And then Brian Friedman comes out with his. Now they've shown all their cards. What a bad poker play that was. It's like when Kim K played poker with reflective glasses and didn't realize that people could see her cards. So basically, yeah, there isn't anything. But the Blake Lively side, there's a lot. And there's a lot of cast and crew members who are going to speak. There are a lot of people like from Sony who were asked to attend this upcoming trial and who will be. The manipulation is so nuanced in these documents. I don't think people really understand or they just don't catch it. In one moment, Wayfair basically says that they did not receive any complaints. Now that made me giggle because the complaints didn't go to Wayfair. They went to Sony. And they're not called complaints. They have different words for them. Friedman was able to basically manipulate that information, but then the world actually believed it. And that's the sad part, is that the world's believing a conniving lawyer who helped Justin Baldoni steal a script from a dying kid who has cancer and then drop the kid, and that is all a mess. The lawyer was also sued or threats of suing for sexual assault, and he paid somebody out $40K or something. Come on, guys. Like, the misogyny is misogynying. I don't know what you would call it, but it's pretty freaking obvious that the case is dead in the water. Their case was dismissed without the ability to, like, come back. They had a little window and they didn't. Okay, so simply put, like, anyone who's on Team Baldoni, I think you're really going to be disappointed when you see the true colors of this guy, all of these guys. And by see, I mean see evidence with your eyes, like videos. Yeah. You think Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds would put themselves through something like this if they weren't going to win? Like, what are you thinking? It's just so ridiculous to me. Okay, now, she's not a celebrity, an asshole. Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly goes on her podcast. I don't know. She's talking to some girl. I got to figure out who that is because she's complicit to all of this. And Megyn Kelly basically says that Epstein's not that bad because it doesn't seem like he was raping 8-year-olds. They seemed closer to 15, so now it's okay. So now somebody who appears closer to 15, yeah, who's been trafficked to an island and is a minor child and just a baby, it's okay if a 56-year-old man holds them captive and abuses them and forces them to do sexual things. Yeah, that's okay. So Megyn Kelly has a 14-year-old daughter. And I think what one actress came out and actually said, I think it was Cynthia Nixon, she said, if Epstein was still alive, would you want your daughter to be alone with him? See, this is the thing is people who have not experienced it, who haven't studied it, who haven't worked jobs like this, who aren't victims, they don't understand what it does to a person. They don't understand the significance of sexual abuse to the mind, to the emotion, to the psychology. They don't understand the difference between post-traumatic stress disorder, which maybe you get in combat because of one incident, compared to complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So you're talking about you can have, one strand of spaghetti that you got to figure out, and that's your trauma. Or you could have a bowl of spaghetti and each strand is something else. That's complex. And that usually comes with child sexual abuse and child trauma. So Megyn Kelly, you're completely ignorant in your statements. And I'm happy that even more people have lost respect for you as you go out on your own. Same with Candace Owens. You guys just look like you are losing credibility left and right with the things that you are saying. You justified and minimized Jeffrey Epstein, one of the world's worst abusers and sex traffickers that we'll ever see in our lifetime. I feel so bad for her kids. I feel so bad for her kids because that they went to school and that people are like, ugh, your mother, that's your mother. Your mother just said that it was okay for a grown man to sleep with you, to rape you. Your mom just said that. So tomorrow is the big vote on releasing the Epstein list, but Trump just randomly said today, after weeks and weeks of saying that this was all a hoax or it didn't even exist, that it was cool. If Republicans sign off and release it. And then I think it goes to Senate for a vote and then Trump signs it, which is interesting to have like a perpetrator signing his own file release because his name is all over the files and they've already put like 50,000 of them out. And he said his name wasn't in them, but his name's like literally in them. If you look at him, like it literally says Donald Trump. His name's literally in them. There's images. Is this gaslighting? I don't know what's happening, but I would assume that someone like Trump, just watching his actions over the past year, is not going to end with this, right? He's not going to be like, sure, release everything that says I'm a pedophile. No, either it doesn't say he is, and it says that other people are, because there are many people. Bill Clinton's being named left and right. There are many people all over politics and in power and authority, even women, that are going to be named in all of this. And then billionaires and celebrities and chefs, pilots, all of these people. And why aren't the survivors speaking out? They have. They already have. They gave their lawyers all the information and their lawyers aren't doing anything with it because even their lawyers are terrified of the billionaires coming after them, of the death threats, of the harm to their families for generations after they die. That's how significant this is. Jeffrey Epstein was a con man, but he was one of the most diabolical con men and used sex to do it. And all these fucking men in authority just hopped on. Nice. So I'm assuming that because Trump asked to open an investigation into Bill Clinton, rightfully so, it needs to be investigated. That guy was shady as fuck too. That's going to lead to a holdup of releasing the files now because now there's an open investigation about reviewing the files. That's not too diabolical, but maybe there's something more diabolical coming. That to me seems like kind of simple. I really hope that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie, the two Republicans that are saying they want to read the names in the House Oversight Committee, maybe actually follow through because that may be the only way to actually get this done. Maybe we'll actually get close when they see that. Like, everybody has hope tomorrow and then the hope gets smushed because Trump or whoever's, he's just like a bobblehead on a car dash. Somebody is giving him information and telling him what to do. So whoever that is, probably some really good attorneys. We'll find out tomorrow. But I really hope that people actually continue following their word in the House Oversight and just name the fuckers and they can all have their fall from fucking grace. So I didn't even watch court TV today. I can't even believe it. I was like really glued to like media and news and trying to figure out what's happening. And it was kind of chaos. Plus, I had my own cases. And so I get to the point where in my own cases, after I've done the chart review, the record review, the interviews, gotten all the collateral information, I have to write. Now, and I'm writing 30, 80-page reports. I have 2 that I have to finish this week, and I really need to stop fucking around with media and stuff. But it's like a dissertation. You kind of do chunks of, you do the malingering or the lie detection. You do the personality section, all about the person's personality. You got to really hone in on the trauma because most of my cases are about trauma, the significance. And when did the trauma take place? If the person had trauma in the past, but then did have a trauma and they want to sue over this trauma, did this exacerbate this? Like, how do we know which led to which and which made which worse and their presentation now is due to this? And then how do we say that they need treatment because of this and not that? It's super complex. And so I have to go through and analyze all of this shit and then align it with like their life history and look at the patterns of who they are and how they've gone about life, looking at their education and their family, looking at their work, relationships, sexuality, religion, addiction, or just substance use, or none of that. But there's just so much that goes into it. So I have to actually like keep my mind focused and carry this through because the end of a report should never be a surprise, right? And nobody ever reads my entire report anyways. It's just a fear tactic. But basically, I write this massive report and then I write this little summary and then I also put the summary at the top. And I'm pretty sure that's just the only thing that the lawyers read. Some actually do read through it and they will call out a few typos. Like if it's a he and I said she because I used a template for a section. I love those lawyers because we're like working together, but most of the time nobody really reads it all. And I just put in a shit ton of time and effort so that it is it's justice, it's ethical, and it's what I genuinely believe and stand for based on objective testing measures and a semi-structured, lengthy interview, as well as every fucking record I can get my hands on. So I need to actually do that tomorrow. I need to work until the weekend when I get to go to the American Doll house, I don't know, and have a tea party for my daughter's birthday. Super cute. And then we're off to the mountains for Thanksgiving, and I can't wait. Okay, world news. Someone asked me to look into the New Zealand McSkimming case. Okay, so McSkimming is Javon McSkimming. I'm sure you pronounce that differently in New Zealand. So what basically happened, until recently, the deputy commissioner of the New Zealand police pled guilty to possessing child abuse material and bestiality content. Yeah, okay. So that's fucking animals. Yeah. So basically the police all like sucked in doing their jobs and coming after this guy. No pun intended. It sounds like everybody was like trying to flag this and call it out, and there's hundreds of emails, and no one did anything about it. I will dig into this more. I really want to dig into the bestiality part because I'm really, oh my God. And New Zealand is tiny, so if things are getting all fucked up on that little island, fuck. I'm just exhausted. I think there's just been too much Epstein going on. I'll look into this and make a video, and maybe I'll put it on my Instagram and my TikTok if it's not going to be long enough for here. But this sounds like some shady shit and some government corruption. Happens everywhere, guys. And side note, I don't think that there's really peace in the Middle East. Like Donald Trump had a sign made during that fake conference where he flew in people from all over the world, but not people who actually could lead to peace in the Middle East. Yeah. So horrible things are still happening and it's still dangerous. At least our government isn't shut down and people maybe can fly for Thanksgiving and not have to have horrible flight issues. Maybe not see fucking Christy Gnome's on a video. There's like a look. There's a MAGA look. It's not a good look. I say that as I'm wearing an Adidas velour tracksuit, but at least it's like not a MAGA look. So, like I always ask you, how were you manipulated today? Well, I think that at least in America, we were grossly manipulated by politicians, and that the Epstein case and the survivors' trauma and abuse is being used for political gain. And we still have no fucking idea how people are going to manipulate this because people on both sides, red and blue, are going to be in a lot of trouble because they were all a part of it. So I guess when everything feels contradictory, it's because it is. Confusion is a tool and chaos is an excellent distraction from the truth. Ooh, and from accountability. Yeah. So, with all that said, take a deep breath in and breathe out. Go turn on Hulu if you want to see Kim K's ass because she just can't get enough of herself and thinks that she's the jack of all trades when really she's a master of none. Maybe she really is a lawyer. I love it. I will catch up with you guys tomorrow because I am actually quite interested in how tomorrow will go. I don't think it's going to be a great day, but I do think we will at least see the next step in our deranged political landscape and climate, and we will see what happens. I keep growing on socials as I am talking about this stuff, and I am very anti predator. I want to educate everyone and explain to you that the predators are out there regardless, and you don't have to be prey. So follow me along on this journey, please. We are building a team to keep this world safer because we can't trust the people in power to do it for us. Catch you later.